Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Player Hater Gaming. My name is Brandon Ross. I am your host and storyteller. Above me, you can see these lovely avatar artworks brought to you by a fantastic artist, King's Evil. We will have a link for her in our chat here in the next few minutes. Thanks so much for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. I don't usually get to catch those. This is very nice to catch those. Usually I'm in the story saying things. So let me just take a minute to say thank you for the follow. And to all of our followers, thank you all so very much for being here. We hope to give you a fantastic story tonight as we are about to get into it. But as you know, before any good stream starts, we got to make sure we say a couple of things. First off, I will say that in light of everything going on, and you know what I'm talking about, we'll definitely be sure we do our best to bring to you fantastic, fun content you can enjoy throughout the years, regardless of what happens in the legal world. So tonight we will be playing a tabletop role-playing game, and should you decide to adventure in this world, should you decide to use any of its creatures, monsters, gods, and pantheons, just know that what we play here is compatible with the current 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game. Beyond that, we just want to make sure we tell a good story and have a ton of fun. I know that right above me is all these fantastic avatars and artworks. You can see the party is rather well put out. I'm excited to have almost only maybe 2 people at Dark Vision? 2 or 3? Where are we at now?
We're one person without it right now.
We're
I'm the
without
only one
Dark
without.
Vision. That's
Yes.
fantastic. This is just
You don't know that.
true. Yeah, not wrong.
That is fair.
Still, it's a storyteller's dream to have fun, already established things I can play with. Like, I saw this great TikTok the other day. It was like, hey, just so you guys know, there's only one mimic in my entire world, and watch the players freak out. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's really good. Oh, it's so good. No, but seriously, really, yeah, really quick. If you enjoy the content we give here and the stories we tell, we do have another game we have on Sundays for the Twisted Perceptions table, and that is made up of a ton of incredible people. One of them right now is unfortunately out for a bit. I don't want to go into our personal lives, but they were in a bit of an accident. They're doing fine, but just keep your thoughts and prayers to that individual and hope them for a speedy recovery. Again, I don't want to put personal lives on blast. I'll just say that from what I know, they're doing well. They're getting what they need to recover from their injuries, and look forward to them making a fantastic smashing comeback. Beyond that, if you want to see a text-based roleplay, David, are you back? Can I switch over to you for that one for a second, or are you hang on?
Yes,
okay.
Actually, I'm back.
Good.
All right.
You talk about that while I put some links in chat.
Got it. So, if you're looking for trying to see for the first time how to play Dungeons and Dragons and all that, we do actually have a Sherma, Land of Prosperity, which is our West March server. You can pretty much make almost any kind of character you're thinking of. Have fun with it. A lot of the quest masters there are actually running quests a couple of times a month. I know that I am. So if you want to have some of my brand of chaos, by all means join. But if not, you do always have other people to join in and have fun with. So see you there.
That is very true. Thanks very much for that, David. I appreciate it. And if there's anything else, well, with that fantastic follow, that puts us at, how close are we? Like 2 away?
We are still 4 away. We're at 196.
4 away. 196. Yep. So, as the big push for 200 is coming through, do a fast recap of what you're going to get, or a chance to get, when we hit 200. When we hit 200 followers, I will be doing a live on-stream giveaway during our Wednesday night campaign here. And we will pull not one, but 2 winners from that. A first place winner and a second place winner. And what you're going to get in the first place is, of course, a giant D20. I love this thing. This is great. Not only is it a great like weapon just to hold and beat people with. I'm kidding. Don't not do that. It has a magnetic top you can take off, and you can put your dice in it. That's great. But then I was thinking, well, you can't just have an empty D20 because it has to have a purpose. So we're gonna give you some dice too. I'm gonna remove the lids because I don't want you to see who they're from because they don't sponsor us yet. But I will grab one of these dice, and you will win this set along with that for first place. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, because I do use a background replacer, but it's this fantastic green dice as the numbers and a kind of like a gunmetal background. Very hefty. I love it. I'm going to roll it real quick, and I rolled a natural 20. You can't make this shit up. So that is definitely a blessed D20 there. So that's going to be the first place prize, along with, in case it had rolled a 1.
I don't mean to interrupt, but player haters, we need one more follow.
We need one?
Oh,
we need one more. Oh man, we need one more. I need to update the Streamlabs counter is failing me today. I apologize for that, everybody. So we need one more for 200, but we're gonna real quick. Thank you, Miss Tasha, for that. I appreciate it. Had it rolled a 1 though, you got to remember that sometimes your dice need a timeout. So we have a timeout chair with a little dunce cap to go on top of it. So if you roll a 1, you can put your dice in the dunce chair and you can have it in timeout.
Nice.
And that's
nice.
Your first place. Our second place winner will also get a set of dice, obviously. I like this one as well. It is a red backing with gunmetal lettering and frame. And again, I hope the camera picks it up well, but I will try my best to get it in there and get a good picture of it. And we'll roll this one too. Well, let's go in the dungeon. What do you guys think? Another natural 20 or a 1? What do you think?
1.
1? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna
You
give us a
burned
1
your luck.
today.
Okay.
Yep.
I burned my luck. Are you kidding me? Who am I?
It's a 1.
I rolled a 19.
Oh, so close.
Nice.
Well done.
Now I burn my luck. So encounter's going to go great for you guys tonight.
Good. I
That's
need
what I
to
wanted
murder
to
something.
hear.
Excellent. Our ploy to have Brandon do the announcements worked.
Yes.
But that's what you will get, first and second place. So if you enjoy the content here or on Sundays, please tell your friends, tell your families. We just want to build an amazing, large community of people who love each other and just love playing tabletop games in general. And we will expand upon the various rules and other systems we use here on this channel. We're currently just playing around and seeing what we like. But with all that out of the way, does anybody else have anything before we get into tonight's episode?
Let's play.
Okay. In tonight's episode of Tales of the Skytorn, we last left off, and I'm going to make it quick because there's things to do. We last left off with the full party making their way through the capital city proper, not getting too close to the Cerulean castle itself upon the floating island of Wingata. But they definitely skirted the outer noble areas. You didn't get too far and you weren't in the extravagant areas, but for your shopping purposes, you did get a bit close, as you did find a peculiar shop ran by a lovely individual, Amos. You were able to procure, I believe you purchased in a total of 2 goggles that allowed you to see through dark.
Correct.
Correct.
One of them was affixed to the doctor's eye sockets. Work done
Yes.
there in shop.
Okay,
then-
for the record, that does not mean the fact that they're actually attached to his body. They were attached to his mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sockets in the mask. Yes.
Yeah, so my apologies.
As
The
we did
mask
with
sockets.
The face reveal from
My
last
bad.
session.
Yes.
There
the
was the face reveal of the session. It was seemed the characters were rather underwhelmed with the plain, boring visage of the doctor's face.
I did it on purpose.
However, there was a bit of brief discussion about the birthmark I believe one of you had recalled seeing it in their travels,
Yes.
and that was mentioned.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's quite distracted the doctor.
Quite.
Ooh.
Beyond that, you did go speak with a very particular, we'll just say what is shady operation of a quote unquote funeral home. After some questioning and discussion, the general feel was we should probably leave. As you left and began to do your best to go over the potential areas that Villas could stay in, seeking to find this individual to use them as a distraction to maybe gain more access to the building or just cause some of a ruckus. The exact thought process there had many paths of success, but through nice rolls, fantastic role play, you were able to find what you believe to be a building where they most likely did stay, as you did find similar substances that Villas was using in Radrion's absence, and you did find a place that had 2 places to stay and similar knickknacks, small stash of coin that was in line with the work they did as just general bruisers of the street. Quick investigation of the area did not yield much, and as you began to leave, I believe Eva and Doctor watched as 3 individuals made their way towards...
Partially watched from the doctor.
Partially watched from the
I am
doctor.
around the corner of the alley.
That's
away
correct.
From the party, out of line of sight.
Yes, and I will go ahead and say this now. Apologies to everybody. I spent the last 3 or 4 days with potentially the vid or a very heavy flu. I did not have a ton of time to work on a map today. I do apologize for that. So the encounter will be a bit more theater of the mind. Promise next time I won't get sick.
That's a lie.
You can't promise anything of the sort.
No, I can't. I can just hope I don't get sick like that ever again. That was awful, terrible. As I try to find a pencil, I don't think I will. So we'll stick with a pen. I believe, Red, you had done your best to keep yourself semi-blended in / distracted by tying your boots. Drac, you were also just doing your best to blend in. Eva, you had also stayed a bit obscured as they walked past you. And as 2 of them flanked the doorway and one moved directly in, Drac, you did make a mental connection with him as he moved in.
Yes.
So that is where we will open the session. What are you doing? Actually, before that, let me get the rest of the scene. Eva, what are you doing?
If I remember correctly, Eva is on the opposite corner from this building, just keeping watch.
Very well. Doctor, you are distracted or just around the corner, pretty much out of sight.
I'm out around the corner. I saw the individuals approach. They took little nose to me. I took little nose to them, and I'm beak deep into my notebook.
Okay. Nyx, you are doing your best to be as blended as you can be for who you are.
With that role.
Yeah.
And with who I am, yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Drac.
All right. So the beauty of this is the fact that I don't need to, as long as I can glance at the person, I can make this connection and nobody else would notice anything.
So it doesn't require anything. It just requires you to see them and that's it.
Exactly.
Do you need to maintain your sight on them to keep it, or once it's established, you're good?
No, it actually says you could send telepathic messages to any creature you see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share any language with the creature, but it must be able to understand at least one language to comprehend these messages. That's it. So it's just like a one-time thing.
Okay, so it's a quick, it's essentially a message spell, but with 30 feet, and you need to have line of sight.
Yep, that's it.
Got it. So as this individual begins to step into the building, and you're just about to lose sight, because you can see they're beginning to look around, they begin to move to the left and move deeper into the building. What do you do?
All this man hears in the back of his head is, "Be careful of the floors. I heard that they'll eat you if you step wrong."
Okay. Make. Oh gosh. Since I cannot decide, if this should be deception or intimidation.
Mm.
Just make a charisma check, adding your proficiency bonus.
Okay. So that means I can just roll deception because that's exactly what it is.
Very well. Thank you. Yeah. Give me that. So I don't want to classify it as either or, so we're just gonna use that.
That's a 17.
17. Alrighty then. Let me look at something real quick.
The start of the chaos.
Right?
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Okay. So he hears this, and you immediately, Drac, you can see he just stops moving. He begins to look around. I want to see if he has enough intelligence to because this is definitely up to chance. So that's why we'll roll a dice.
Mm-hmm.
So he's have enough
Oh, yeah, it's
intelligence
like, I
to
would've-
discern where this message is coming from.
Like the beauty of this is the way that he would have done this is as he's walking, he just looks at him from the corner of his eye, sends the message, and then continues to walk.
Okay. So he rolled a 17.
Mm.
So I'm not going to say he knew you did it. I'm not going to say he knew even where the message came from, but I'll say that gives him enough to be able to know it wasn't a ghost, and that's it. He doesn't know anything else. There's no anything else.
No, that tracks.
I
That
think
tracks.
That's fair.
But he stops and he's like, and he does whip around, like he immediately turns. And do you watch or do you do what you said? You glance and keep moving.
Oh no! You see, this is the beauty of Drac is this isn't the first time he's done this, so he knows like if he stops and looks, he'll be caught.
Okay.
So he just continues.
So
to
Red,
walk,
you're keeping
but
an
he's
eye
definitely
then.
listening.
So Red, are you keeping the eye like you wanted to, like you said you were going to?
Out of the corner of my eye, yeah.
Okay, you can see this rapid flash of movement as there's just this individual turns, comes back to the door and looks around, stares at you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I'm not doing shit until he comes over. If he starts coming
Alright.
my direction, I will be standing up and trying to intimidate him.
All right, he just stares at you for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
looks at the Dragonborn, looks up the street, down the street, snarls a bit, just turns around, and you see he actually like rips something from he actually like almost breaks the strap off of the satchel the other person was carrying and takes it inside the building. You hear it's like, "Hey, jerk, careful!"
Oh, God.
Do we do this
And
again?
As he goes in, the two guys outside are like, "What's his problem?" "I don't know. He's always been a dick. Let's just get it done."
You see, this is the worst part of all. I can do this again, and repeatedly too. So it makes it even better.
So are there people left outside?
Right now, the far as like the time of day and where you're at, the only real people out there are the two at the door and your party and the party.
Okay, the two at the door are still there though. They haven't.
Oh yeah,
moved
no,
or
they
anything.
stayed there. No, they stayed outside.
Okay, yeah. Lovely.
About a minute
Fuck it,
passes.
we're gonna do it again.
Do it to the
Well,
people standing outside.
You don't have line of sight on him anymore, so
No, not to him.
yeah, not to him. No, okay, just make sure.
That's fine. No. I
Okay.
understand that.
So you had two individuals there, and they're both human, similar age, similar build, just large bruiser type individuals. One has this kind of dark, shaggy brown hair. One's a bit brighter, maybe like auburn, or maybe even a little lighter, bits of blonde there. Both decently clean shaven, and again, not the poorest of poor clothings, but also not super well either. There's no pads, there's no holes, but it's not like tailored to their bodies and seen very well. You can definitely tell it was just something grabbed off of the store or something like that.
Yeah. So what's gonna happen is is the fact that Drax is going to pull out his notebook and he's going to turn around, like kind of like look at it, look up, and kind of do like the entire like, wait, am I supposed to be where I'm supposed to be? Huh. He kind of like turns, and when he looks at the one closest to him,
Okay, this will be the one with
Like-
like the lighter auburn hair.
he once again like quick glance, and this time like the voice is softer, almost just like this guy's conscience is trying to like tell him, because this is the one who actually had the bag ripped out of his hand, right? Or is
Yeah.
it the other one?
No, this is the one that had the bag right out of his hand.
Okay, so what he's gonna hear in his mind is, you know, he just wants to get rid of you, and he's gonna use this as an excuse. You may want to stop him.
I don't know what to call that. Just roll
I'll
no-
roll it
another
again.
deception check, please.
Yeah, that's a 23.
Oh,
Holy what?
Yes. This is exactly what I
love
wanted you to say.
so you try and project your voice a bit better, a little lighter, not so that gravelly dragonborn that you have naturally. In your mind, you've exerted enough control to shift it to at least remove that graveliness. So to you, it's like, man, this is a really good impression. Could be just like this guy's internal voices. You see the hang on. There is a bit of chance here, so yeah, no, there's not.
Ghost.
Natural one.
Yes.
Yes.
You can see one looks over the other, and he see him reach behind his back and head inside the building. And the other one moves to block the doorway.
Okay.
Are there video cameras in this world?
That's natural 20.
That can't be good.
Nope.
Internal
question-
fighting.
So the question is, do I try to go 3 for 3?
You hear a quick cry of pain before it's rapidly muffled. And then you see as a few seconds pass and smoke begins to rise from the building. And the one individual runs out with the other
Is it the
one at
first
the
one or
door.
the second
The
one?
second one. The second one runs out with and you hear, go, get the run. And you just watch as the two individuals just book it out of here.
Okay. The second one runs past me. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm just gonna say, be careful. You already killed one.
Oh,
I'll kill you just as quickly.
Seasoned out. I love it.
And that's a 19.
Holy what?
You are rolling a storm, friend.
Right? Yes,
The
it's
dice
amazing,
agree.
I
This should
love it.
happen.
Okay.
Yes.
They take off. They're just running. They're booking it.
Can I add a little flavor to this?
From your perspective, what you have seen is you just watched as one individual went in, came back out, rudely grabbed a bag from one, went back inside. About 6 to 10 seconds later, one of them reached behind their back and walked into the building. You would have heard the faint scream, and then you begin to see smoke, and then you watch these two run away. What are you doing?
Minor illusion, and it's a 5-foot space, so I guess
Yeah.
it could only catch one of them, unfortunately. But behind, like over his shoulder, behind, doesn't matter which one it is, there's just gonna be heavy breathing in their ear.
Oh my god. They run harder. I don't know what you want from me.
Yes.
Do they run back down
Terror.
the same alley?
No, they book panic mode has set in. They're looking for the quickest exit from here to wherever they're going. Actually, you know what?
Nice.
Red and Eva, give me a perception
Oh.
check.
You've got it.
Perception, I'm not good at that.
Oh, that's a dirty 20.
Okay.
13.
Eva, you can see them just running off. Red, they're panicking running. But you know that when you panic run, all thought of stealth and tacticalness just goes out the brain. You make the shortest path from point A to point B.
Mm.
Should you choose to follow, you may have a pretty good chance of figuring out where they're supposed to be from or where they're going.
Yeah, she's absolutely following.
Okay. Red just takes off.
That's fine.
I love how he's like, that's fun. Like, I can see through his dragonborn teeth. This is fine. This is fine.
Everything's fine.
Important question.
Go ahead.
Because of the fact I have force breath, would we, by merits of logistics and the way that it was normally portrayed, could we say that I'd be able to extinguish this flame in the building?
It is a difficult question because the damage type is given as force, meaning it's just sheer momentum and pressure. Obviously, you do have, the science of it, things like that. I will leave it up to chance for you. I will let you roll, or I'll roll.
I'll let you roll it.
Okay. I'm going to roll a D100 to assign the effect to your breath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot.
Given that is a damage type that is not cold, nor... Let's see here. Doesn't produce cold or water or anything that could put out a flame directly. It's just you're relying on sheer force. So
yeah, pretty much I'm just trying to pressure.
It's going to be a low chance. How do we feel about a 30% chance?
That sounds fair.
Can I add that as Red is fleeing, she uses control flames to start putting out some of the fire?
You can...
What's the range on it?
60 feet.
Okay, that's good. Do you have to see the flame?
And then you choose non-magical flame you can see within range that fits within a 5-foot cube. Yeah.
You cannot see the flame
Damn.
yet. You can see the smoke of the flame, but you do not see the actual source.
Okay.
So I will say, if you want to go in, regardless, you're using your breath weapon, correct? So you run inside, you assess the situation. Immediately, you see a dead body on the floor.
Oh, God.
Immediately. First thing you see.
No. I know the dead body's there.
Then off in the corner, you do see where they have the guy who was there the first time had gathered up like rags, linens, the bed sheets, and throwing them into a pile to make it burn quicker. And that flame is starting. You inhale, you release your breath. We'll say 30% chance to do something of a positive effect here.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 12.
Nice.
I rolled a 10 and a 2. So, let's see here. I'm not going to have you roll damage. Instead, we're going to see how much force your body can muster through your breath weapon. So give me a constitution check. And depending upon where you hit on the scale, will depend upon how much you're able to put out.
A 15.
That is a success.
Nice.
So you breathe in this deep breath, as much oxygen as your lungs can take. And as you take it in, you feel that draconic blood ignite in your veins, and you feel it mix in your lungs and in your throat with that power of your ancestors. And you exhale this breath. And instead of just being this usual, as you see it, this translucent kind of grayish force, the magic and energy mixes to just be almost perfectly clear. And there's just this like heat wave cylinder pushed out of your mouth as you open and breathe. And this 5-foot wide line just demolishes the flame, hits the wall, leaves it cracked, almost broken all the way through, but not structurally damaged a ton. Like it took a hit, but you didn't break anything horrible. You definitely, obviously, you moved the body, you moved the rags, the flame is out, and there's a bit of damage to the things that were there. Anything that could have been salvaged of decent use is now worthless in that pile. But you do manage to extinguish the flame.
Nice. All right. Red wasn't needed. All right. She's still booking it.
Okay, Red, you were just going off. They are gaining away from you. Like you are losing ground every 6 seconds. You can see they are conditioned to run.
Dang. Okay.
And as they begin to escape from you,
Yeah.
give me one more perception check, please.
Got it. Oh no, that's a 5.
Yeah, as you are running past them, one of them looks back and sees you and recognizes you from the alleyway. And like in the classic 80s movie style, like knocks over a clothes stand or like a clothesline, cuts it with his dagger. And as it falls down and the tunic, freshly soaked and wet, wraps over your face. You're like, oh, come on. And you move it out of the way and they are gone from sight.
All right, she's tracking. This is how this is going today.
Okay, so I will let you begin your tracking efforts. Go ahead and roll an investigation check. Come back to you. Eva, Doctor.
Oh, that's a 21.
What all do I
Continue.
hear from this?
I will hang on to that. You heard, honestly, piercing through your current mind space.
I'm fine with not knowing anything's happening.
Make a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay. Disadvantage. That's not one.
Oh.
6 total.
No clue. You are lost in your research trying to find something that ties your birthmark to something else because this is the first you've heard of it. It
Did I
freaks
write
you
something
out.
down?
Your
I'm trying to
family isn't
figure-
known. You aren't known. What's happening? So you are just furiously digging through your notes. Eva.
Just leaning against this building across the
Watching
street
it
from the one
unfold.
that Drakix ran into, just waiting to see if he comes back out.
Okay.
Oh yeah, when I come out, I actually grab the body.
Okay.
I'm walking out.
You
I
watch
nod to
he
Eva.
drags this body out by the ankle.
He walks over to the doctor, kind of like lets go of the leg,
Thud.
almost like hitting the very side of his boot. And he goes like, "Can I get my armor back, please? I feel weird without it."
Eva has your armor, not the doctor.
Oh yes, you're right. So like he just turns over. It's like, "Eva, can I get my armor back?"
So I'll just hand it to him. She's been carrying it the whole time.
He goes like, "Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you." Looks back to the doctor. So I may have actually gotten one of these idiots killed because certain things that I can do, sometimes it works out in my favor. Sometimes it doesn't, but this time it did. Do you want to just check him, see if there's anything in there?
Sure. Takes a moment, closes his journal, and puts it back in his bag. Tries to do this indoors.
Are you
Okay.
expecting to find anything in this individual?
Well, considering the fact that 3 of them came in, wanted to apparently burn the building down for whatever reason, I got one of them to kill one, and the other one is probably being extremely cautious about the first one. Well, I should say second, considering that he came out alone and there was no third. So maybe, possibly.
The doctor just cocks his head as you explain this, like, what did I miss?
Let me rephrase this. Are you trying to check his pockets or check his stomach?
Both, because you never know if these people were to act a certain way, there are things that they would rather ingest than keep on their physical person. And at the same time as he's saying this, he's already rummaging in pockets.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Just when you want to get to the stomach, let's take this somewhere else, please, where there aren't eyes.
That's a 12.
12. Okay. You guys gonna move him, or you gonna make you going?
Is he inside the house?
Oh, no,
still?
No, he drug him out in the
honestly-
middle of the alleyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Doctor
no,
recommends doing this indoors.
He's gonna take him back inside.
You
And then
you
it's
drag
just
him
like
30
we-
feet back.
I don't know. At this point, he's like grabs it, like his shirt, and like not really caring about because he's the fact he's already dead. He kind of like sinks his claw, like his actual like nails into him too, just to make sure he has that extra grip, and just drags him all the way back.
Okay.
And then he kind of looks over and goes like, "Well, we also need to make sure Red is okay."
Eva and Doctor, give me insight checks,
Insights? Okay.
please.
18.
19.
Track is
Spicy.
way too calm in this situation.
You could definitely tell this is not his first or 15th
You
rodeo.
you get the sense that this is just another Tuesday for him.
They're about to see what my other Tuesday is as I go to town on dissecting this individual.
So with we'll get started on 12 first, and we're gonna go back to Eva, then we'll come back to you. With a 12 investigation, just rifling through pockets, boot. I imagine you're giving him the full shakedown. Pockets, boots,
great.
looking
Yeah.
for daggers. Okay, so what you do find is 2 unused torches from the satchel that was next to him. You find 2 vials, probably usually about health potion size, but encased in them is some kind of a clear viscous material. Like it's hard to actually tell it's in there without shaking it. Like you pick it up, like, why is it empty? And then as you moved it, you saw bubbles. So you looked, he's like, oh, there's liquid in here. And then you also find, upon further investigation, I would say 2 daggers just placed upon his person, one stuffed up under the tunic on the waist and one in his boot. And then as the doctor begins to get the do his work, you do notice that over the heart there is a circular tattoo that starts thick at the top, and as a circle makes its ring, it becomes thinner, and then off of that is like a bunch of little spikes that protrudes off this main circular shape.
Okay. I would sketch it into my journal for later.
Okay.
And
Would
then
I recognize it?
Make a history check.
I know the doctor probably does not recognize it at all.
No, I definitely don't.
Oh,
You don't
nope.
even need to tell me.
Yeah. Not one, folks.
It's a well done tattoo.
Today is certainly the day for nat ones. All right.
So,
Hey, listen, I had to even it out somehow, you know?
Doctor, what are you looking to accomplish?
Well, Draka says he's about checking the stomach, so I'll go ahead and undress his torso, the top half portion of his body, and get into his stomach. Also, probably do like a preliminary like medical check, like cause of death, or at least like if he has
Okay.
anything.
Roll. Give me 2 rolls, and I'll get back to you. Medicine investigation.
That's an investigation.
Red,
Got you.
for you, give me a perception check.
After that 21 investigation?
My apologies, forgot about that. Thank you very
Yep.
much for the reminder.
Mhm.
21 investigation. You begin to look around and try to figure out the most logical course of action they would take, knowing that probably for the first 60 to 70 feet of this run, they didn't notice you, because you've gone about 90 feet now, because you chase them for a good couple of rounds. You're closer to the dock side of the city, but you're still very much in like that separation area to where you have now pushed into where there's buildings once again, mostly of lumber with that like quarter stone foundation. You are also looking around. You do see a couple of individuals, nothing crazy, nobody that looks suspicious anyways, just going about their business, especially for this time of day. They're just beginning to either come to a shift, leave for a shift. You would know by now for certainly your time here on the island. It doesn't really sleep in certain parts. It is ever constant because the next big push for popularity and for riches will come from a breakthrough.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So, would the Elrune family have anything in this area?
In this area, no.
Okay.
Was it you that heard of them before with that history check from a session or two ago?
Yeah.
Then you would know that they do keep I wouldn't say a home. They keep an office area here. You know that the head of the family keeps one here because, what was your role name? Remember how it was?
History? I don't remember, but I remember that it surprised the hell out of me. I know it was high. I just don't remember how high.
Then I'll give you some common knowledge plus. So common knowledge is, especially for the circles you work in, for the people you have worked for in your areas of protection, being an arcane bruiser, essentially.
Yeah.
You have been hired not directly by this family, but you've worked in close proximity to them for various Merchants' Knots meetings. And the Merchants' Knot is the Merchants' Guild of this island. It is made up of the one singular representative from each of the lands. So you have one from the ranch hands, the farmlands, the quarry, the Cloudside Valley, where all the weave tech pretty much for the island and where a lot of breakthroughs come through, and of course one representative from the Cerulean Castle, and then one representative from the common people. That's the Merchants' Knot. And you know that for many years, you kind of heard in your stories that the head of the Ilrum family has been wanting to secure their seat for the Merchants' Knot.
Interesting. That is exactly where she's headed.
Common knowledge plus lets you know that the only way to do that is to be voted into that spot, or simply, if there is no one to vote, you get the spot.
Oh, interesting. Yes, she is going there. I don't think she has any kind of like message or anything. Hold on. Nope, she doesn't have a way to let anybody know where she's going, but that's exactly where she's going.
So she's going? Okay.
Yep, she's certainly and when she gets close enough, she's gonna stealth and try and like just observe and see if the dudes are there.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
Okay. Come on, do not do this bullshit to me. Oh, dirty 20.
All right, then you feel confident you're able to stealth, or alternatively, as you are in a city, blend in to such a degree that you are pretty much just another plain Jane in the streets.
Okay. Nice.
Doctor, with your rolls, you immediately can see there is a singular, well-placed stab wound in the left kidney by a small, piercing type instrument. You only see one wound, and it is clean, and it is well made.
All right.
Beyond that, you find the usuals you would expect to find inside of someone who was just breathing not but 5 minutes ago. Nothing out of the ordinary.
I would once I find nothing out of the ordinary, I'll look to the rest, to Eva and Drakix. Well, I can do my thing and make sure we can dispose of this body. And hearing what you did to his former friends, we could, if we want to really mess with them, because they're more likely would come back when they realize the building didn't burn down. Leave a note, maybe mentioning he might still be alive and looking for revenge.
Rack has the biggest grin on his face right now.
Love it.
Okay. How? All right. I'll look to Drax. I'll leave the disposal of the body to you. I can just make sure it's unidentifiable.
Please do.
All right. And I will produce the shark stomach acid I have, and I would burn away the tattoo marking, and as well as disfigure the entire face.
Dang.
You are able to do
Get it.
so.
And if necessary, if needed, I can cut them up, but I don't think it's needed right now.
See, the worst part of all is Drac actually has about really 8 different ways to possibly dispose of the body. Probably 3 of them would only work here because he needs to.
And I can do precipitation to clean up the excess blood. I'm going to leave enough blood there to show that he did get stabbed. And see, I want to see if I can use precipitation to not clean the blood, but kind of like make it look like it's dripping to the end of the doorway, like he got up and left. Is that possible?
Not with the capacity of presentation, but I will say with the with other creative measures of just using
we
your
have a lot
own
right here.
boot.
We have a lot of blood. It's a white wife.
You could definitely make it look that way.
Okay.
But not through the singular uses of that cantrip.
That's perfectly fine with me. I think that'd be what we want anyways, is clean up the excess blood so it doesn't look like it just gutted the man in here. And then just make it look like he was alive enough and not bleeding out terribly to possibly survive the attempt in his life.
Works.
Okay.
Okay. So what are you 3 going to do?
He actually looks at Avis like, would you like the honors of making the revenge note?
I can certainly try. It's not something I'm particularly proficient in, but
Oh, trust me, if you were to come back and find out that the job isn't done and the body that you left is not here, and you find that, you will really look into what's written.
I would also mention handwriting is not particularly a method that people use to identify someone, at least on the day-to-day basis.
well, it just so happens that I have a case with a scroll in it and a bottle of ink. So
And if you did that, I would have provided paper and parchment as well, and ink.
Okay. What, if any, methods are you taking to disguise, change, mask, or switch up your handwriting?
None whatsoever, actually.
Okay. What are you going to say in your...
I'm leaving that to Derek.
Okay, I'll let you...
He can dictate.
let you 3 work on leaving the note. Where are you moving the body to?
Okay, so since we are within a city,
We are.
Drac would probably know, compared to other cities, that there are means of disposal of normal, everyday litter.
Yeah, hang on, give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm checking something.
Mm-hmm.
What's your background feature?
My background feature, 1 second, is down low. I will send it over to. No, I'm gonna send it to you as a DM.
I got it pulled up finally. Took
Okay.
forever. Okay. Roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion, you said?
Yep.
Not my best roll. That's a 15.
Okay. Drac is looking the scene over, and then you just see him go, I'll be right back. And Drac, you leave. Through your network, you are able to find somebody that can handle a garbage run for you. After about 20-30 minutes, Drac, you return. About 5-10 minutes after you return, a small cart pulled by a kind of like a, not like a miniature horse, just a younger horse, like a smaller horse, comes up with a very nondescript looking individual, simple black hair, brown eyes, plain clothing. He steps right into the building, looks at all three of you, just gives a nod. Thank you for using Gary's garbage disposals. Leave your payment in the building and have a good night. We'll clean up everything else.
He actually goes like, just leave the blood. That's all I ask. And he actually puts 10 gold down on the counter next to the body. And then he looks to Ava and just goes, I'll repay back what was done to me tenfold. Watch your back. And that's what's going to be in that note.
Okay. This individual takes 10 gold, nods his head, loads the body up, throws a tarp over it, and leaves.
And he looks over to the other three after he. At this point is when he actually starts putting on his armor. He looks over. It's like, all right, does anybody know which way Red went to?
In the meantime, Red. Thank you for that transition. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
As Eva is doing her best to scribe the note as just evilly and vilely as possible.
Evil
Red.
can be glamorous.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Glamorous evil, the worst kind. Red, you are able to blend in / stealth with your surroundings. You move to where a general area of business and a lot of the boring kind of work goes on. A lot of paperwork, a lot of legalities, a lot of things that there's no artisans here. There's no shops in this area. It is mainly just very boring buildings full of some kind of office or maybe even an office away from home type situation, especially with this being a large hub of a capital city where individuals are coming and going by skyship at all times. They always need to either rent out an office space or use them for prolonged periods. But you get to one to where you remember passing by the banner of the Ilrum family. Do you go inside? Because it's even the building itself is multiple shared within. Like you could have one room that's for 3 or 4 families visiting from far off doing business, and then the very next one you could have someone who just hosted that for a party.
Absolutely, she's going in.
Okay, you head inside, I would say, and you got here this time of day. I believe it was just roughly lunch, noonish time.
Mm-hmm.
Was when you got to the rundown building, correct?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there would be business happening once again. So, you move into that building, looking around, and doing your best to blend in. You do see a few individuals who you've worked for before. They don't acknowledge you. Your line of work isn't exactly a "hey, how are you doing" kind of work.
Right.
It's more of a just a nod and move on.
Yeah.
But you do eventually get to essentially the corner offices, to where the Ilroom family has been renting out for some time to conduct their business. This is very much where the business end of things happen. While obviously out in the Surwich fields and the ranch hands, they raise the beast and handle all that. This is where the business part takes over. This is where your accounting is. This is where your paperwork and documentation is. This is where you come when you need to file for things or request things or keep things on file for years and years to come. Even, from the Borealis farmsteads, they come here. Out in the Rainbow Quarry, they're here as well. They all have their places here because, again, they need to make sure that all of their legalities are kept in line. Cost on hand, things sold, things brought in, that and so forth. Again, this is to you pretty much the nickname you probably gave it is the boring building. This is where you don't want to go. The only reason you're in here is because you're just watching the door.
Yep.
But what is your current goal?
Goal is to see if the two people that left the rundown building are in or around the area of the Ilrune family.
Okay, so you do a quick once around of the building itself. You give me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, that's a 10. Oh.
You do not see them. You take a moment to look around, making sure where you head inside. You head up to this is a purely stone building here, multiple floors. I'd perhaps say 4 or 5. You up the steps, you get to the 4th floor. Looking around, you see the Ilroom office where they conduct their business, but you don't see those two individuals.
Is there like an area inside the office where they could be that I couldn't see them? Like a room that has a shut door or something
I
like
will
that?
say at this point in the day, the door is open and you actually do see standing by the door. You see a group of individuals. You do see George Ilroom, the father and head of the household, his port belly but very barrel chest, thick arms, slicked over hair, well dressed. And you can see there's other individuals of similar body styles around. You can imagine this is probably the heads of the ruling families over the ranch fields and the farmlands. And they all seem to be having some kind of discussion. It seems very jovial. A couple of individuals are shaking hands with George. And you can see they are initiating the handshake to George as if they're making an insight check.
Okay. All right. That's a 14.
It definitely looks like he's not initiating a handshake, so they're coming to him almost as if being like congratulations or giving him like thanks, something like that. You're unable to ascertain the exact mood of the conversation, but it's definitely of good jovial nature, and it seems to be just for their interest, good. Now, what they perceive as jovial and good in their minds may not align with everybody else's. But from their point of view, they seem to be having a pretty good meeting right now.
Interesting. I mean, she knows they came here because she tracked them to this building, right?
You did not track them to this building, but you did track them in this direction. There are n number of places they could have either branched off to once they caught wind of you, but if they would have kept going in a straight direction, they would have been in this general area. Now, the area open here, it's got some pretty good options where they could have gone. Let me check something real quick. Make a general intelligence check for me.
Got it. Oh no, that's a 5, honey.
I mean, again, there's some good places to go here, but you've got a bit of narrowing down to do. But you know a good general area where they could have gone.
Okay, she's gonna search everywhere for them that she can.
Okay, you begin to search around. How much time are you dedicating to this task?
I would say she'd spend probably an hour trying to find them.
Okay.
She's almost entirely certain that they went somewhere with the runes, but yeah.
Okay. Drakex, Eva, and Doctor. The individual, the garbage man, has left. You are left standing there in the middle of a bloodied, note-left building with a corner support beam a bit broken and damaged into.
If necessary, I can fix it.
You just kind of like, Drac would actually look at him just like, just leave that alone. It's just for aesthetics. Don't have to worry about that. I just didn't want the building coming down on any kind of possible clues that we may need later. As it stands, let's go find Red before some other form of chaos happens upon her. I know that I am an agent of chaos, and it usually follows me around, but let's kind of keep it affecting the rest of you all to a minimum. Everyone else, I don't care. You guys are fun. I want to keep you around.
Red? Chaos? What?
Everybody else kick rocks.
So he's gonna like walk outside and just be like, okay, well, if I remember correctly, Red was standing there and must have headed in that direction. And he looks at the other two. It's like, do you guys remember which way exactly? After we like go down the alley, which way?
Shakes said no.
Got it.
She's somewhere down there. At least that's the last I saw her.
Got it. It's fine. It's fine. We'll manage. We'll eventually get to her. We may end up having to follow the explosions. I'm sure she'll make one. She does seem like the...
As you say that.
So we're going to start heading off in the last known direction that Red went to.
Yep.
Okay. Who's helming this?
Probably me.
Give me an investigation check.
Do me well. That's a 19.
19. You looking over, trying to remember everything, how everything went down. You move down one of the alleyways, and after about 5 or 10 feet, you can immediately see the disturbance of rushing individuals. You can see you look down and you can see in the ground about probably 2 to 3 inch long splatter of blood that should only be maybe but a droplet, but because of how hard it hit the ground and direction it was going, it just splattered that hard. So you're like, got you. You begin to follow little clues moving down. You can see where like something was shoved aside that was just not but 20-30 minutes ago. You can see like where like a trash bag had been soaking in the ground, and like through the cloth that the refuse had been wrapped up in, you can see where it is just hanging out. So you shove that aside, and then you keep moving, and you can see why is there just this wet tunic just balled up in a ball and flung to the side? And then you can see like a clothesline cut and put across the way, and like, fine. And you follow that until you get to a section of the road where it opens up into the shop district. And at this point, you could move a bit further. If you moved in a direction closer to the Cerulean Castle, it would take you into the shop district. And then beyond that is where a lot of the legal things happens. A lot of like office buildings and bureaucracy and very boring places. Places you've heard of because you had to come here to either register a cargo or you came with your captain at some point. As you were learning the ropes from him, he would have brought you here to learn the quote unquote boring parts of being a skyship captain. If you go further away, it would lead you into the bit more housing area as it begins to wrap around in a circle. Eva, you are a bit familiar with this area because you just like, oh, if I just go down there and follow that for about 10, 15, 20 minutes, where I stay is just around there, not too far, maybe 25 minutes tops. Doctor, you're familiar with this area because you know that if you go down that road and then not too much further, maybe about 10, 15 minutes in a very particular direction, is the VS family home.
I probably would mention that to Drakex.
Hey, Red would know that too.
But Red's not here.
About this time, Red, that 5 on your intelligence check starts to kick in. And you realize they could have been heading toward the VS family home.
Okay, right. They could have been doing that. Let's go there.
You know, with everything that he's ever been through, and considering what they were trying to do, Drac would actually kind of like stand there for about a moment, think about this. He's like, if I were to send somebody to do dirty work for me, I wouldn't send them where the legal business is because I don't want to get attention brought to me. Homes would not be a bad option as they can slink around. But we were always skeptical. Screw it, we'll go check out the family home, see what we can find around the way. And if not, I don't think they're going to go in anywhere close to this castle. That would just, while also the best place to hide, these guys didn't seem that smart, so I doubt they would go there. So he's going to go straight to the family home.
Okay.
Dr. we recommend definitely don't go inside or get spotted since we were just left here.
Oh, well. We could scope it out and then go from there. I may just have to huff and puff and maybe blow down a door or two.
After your walk to get through this certain parts of the city, you all, about the same time, begin to descend upon the currently named Villas Home for the Family and Recently Passed.
Do we see each other?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Red, you get there first.
Can she? Oh gosh. So she doesn't see them anywhere outside, probably because it's been an hour. Does she see any sign that they've been here at all, or is it just like random boot prints?
Make an investigation check.
Okay. Oh no, that's a 4. What is going on? I'm
4?
changing my dice color.
No dice.
I'm
Literally.
changing my dice color.
You're looking around and you're a little upset at yourself. You didn't think of this first. Like, why did I come here first? I should have known this.
Yeah.
But you can't discern anything that would tell you this is the exact 2 individuals I chased without a doubt.
Okay. Dice color has been changed.
Okay. As you are looking around and making your assessments, you, corner of your eye, can see 3 familiar individuals heading your way.
She will head towards them, looking incredibly disgruntled.
The 3 of you see a frustrated Red walking your direction.
I need to roll insight to know what that means.
These motherfuckers.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, more than likely they're in here. I did lose them along the way, but this is a straight line, straight shot, pretty much, which makes a bit of sense considering the ruckus that we caused when we were here last.
Ah, well. As it stands, there's always a ruckus to be had, and we just make do with what we got.
So how do we
No.
go about this?
Well, first things first, we need to make sure the fact that they're here. If they are here, then that does make things a little bit easier. Secondly, we need to find a way to get in without being seen.
Oh, so we're not just going to go blow the doors off?
No, not this time. Not.
Mhm.
And he kind of like stops for a moment. He goes, "I was like, well, I almost did break down the wall a moment ago, like a little while ago." It's like, well, I could break down a wall if necessary, but that will leave too much for the guards to find, which will end up not working in our favor.
Doctor, have you
So,
seen another entrance here before? Or is this the only one?
I assume there's another entrance, but this is the only one I've been through. I doubt they take the individuals we
To
work
the
on
front.
through the
Mhm.
front.
Quite right. She's gonna look around for another
Gonna
entrance.
scope the building? Okay. So this particular building is nestled in between a few others. It is not standing alone by itself, and that generally here on this island is not a common occurrence, except for far out in the Surwich fields, which you all have become accustomed to.
Mhm.
Except for you, Red and Eva. The 2 of you know that if you're in the city, you've got a neighbor to your left, right, and probably above you, and maybe even below you. Who knows? Space to yourself, unless you are of the ultra wealthy, is usually pretty slim. You have your home, you're safe and inside of it, but as far as land space and just space between you and another home is few and far pickings. So as you walk around this area, there is about 3 or 4 other buildings that are pretty close proximity. I would say probably about 5 to 10 foot gap at any given time. You walk around the entire building, which is not massive by any means. Maybe like all in all is probably say 40 by 50. But you give it a good walk around. you do find in the back, which would be at this point not the exact opposite of the front door, but as you're facing the front door, it would be the left side of the building in the far corner is essentially oriented as the back here, as it is the most obscured and far away from the main street. There is a large double door here, almost like barn style.
Hmm. All right. Do we think this is maybe where they take the things they want less seen?
Most likely.
Makes the most sense. Plus, there's a trap door somewhere I didn't see, but I've only been in the
Right.
2 rooms.
Probably not. She's gonna listen at the door.
Okay, make a perception check.
Yay. Come on, new dice. Oh, that's a 15. Okay.
Okay.
Not horrible.
As you put your ear to the door and you kind of cup your hands around it and try to isolate as much noise as possible and you listen, you don't hear anything.
Nothing. Okay. Well, I don't hear anything. Should we try and go in or?
Drac is going to very gently. There is a doorknob to this door, correct?
To which one?
The door we're going to try to go through?
Which door is that?
The back entrance?
There is no doorknob. It is a simple iron handle on each of them, and they like open like they're on rollers essentially.
Got it. He's going to test the handle real quick. Try to
Sure.
see if... And this is a very light motion because he's just testing the door to see if it'll open
Okay.
or if it's locked.
It does not open.
But is it locked?
Doesn't open.
Okay. He looks at the others and just goes, does anybody have any skills with lockpicks?
Does it even have a lock to pick?
There is no apparent lock.
Does it look like that if we slide some kind of thin implement between the doors from the bottom to the top, that maybe we could figure out if there's something on the other side keeping it from parting?
You can certainly try.
Good. I'm gonna do that.
That is a great thought process.
The doctor is going to ask, are we sure we want to do this? We were just going to see if Villas will distract them for us while we finish up with the Ilderim family stuff. Do we want to do this now and try to make more enemies?
Drac looks and kind of blinks a little bit. And then he just like, I have enough people out of my head. Adding about 5 more really doesn't affect me. What about you all?
Well, I think I agree this is going to be a problem that we deal with at some point. I was trying to assess whether we want to deal with it now.
I get the feeling that there is already a target on our backs.
Those men didn't seem to be after us, though. If they were, they would have recognized us. They passed by all of us.
True. Just because those two were not after us doesn't mean they don't have more.
I agree with this, but it's a time we might be jumping too early at something.
Okay, so if we don't do this, what do you suggest we do?
Continue on the runs.
And
Figure out what the cult involvement with them is. Also, Red, I didn't recognize this, and I'll bring up my journal that I drew the tattoo of. That was on the individual. Do you recognize this tattoo?
what do I need to roll?
Make a history check.
That'd be a 19.
You have seen this before.
Oh, from where?
It was in your earlier days. of being the arcane bruiser slash bodyguard you are now. Into the earlier days of you establishing a name for yourself and what you were able to do with your arcane and physical capabilities, you were approached by an individual who never gave you a name, simply extended an offer to become part of their ranks. Something about it seemed off to you, and you declined, and it seemed to be a decision that has thus far, it hasn't brought you a target on your back, but you also know it has left you with a bit of a looking over your shoulder when you take certain jobs because you're encroaching on their territory. You would know this as the Order of the Black Vine.
The Order of the Black Vine? Where was that from?
This was tattooed on the chest of the individual who was left in the building.
They did approach me once upon a time, but I declined joining them.
Are they the source to work with the Villas family?
You know, I worked with the Villis family too, so maybe it was just a bumping into each other of our territories. Not sure.
That's what it seems to be to me, based on what information I have to go off of, at least. So I think we're maybe jumping the gun a bit too much on this.
Somebody hired thugs.
They're clearly after your friend. He being the only individual we know of who was in that building before us.
True.
So maybe we need to find your friend.
All right. Do we find my friend Villis, or do we go try to stalk the whatever ritual craziness is going on with the Ilrune family?
Both are a priority. I don't know which one's more of a thing that we need to go for first. So hoping you guys can help with that.
Anyone have any ideas?
I was about to break into here with all of you, but clearly that isn't a good idea now. So I'm perfectly fine with following the party.
Miss Eva, you've been really quiet through all this. Do you have any input?
Do we know where the Ilrunes are right now? Or they might be?
Either at the
Where one of them is. One of you knows where one of them is.
I did see them earlier, back on the way here, back in the boring part of town.
My thought process is that it might be easier to follow someone who we know the location of rather than someone who can hide and move however they like through the city whenever they feel. We might be better off trying to find the Ilrunes for now. If we know where one of them is, then either waiting for Villas to show up or trying to split all over the town and potentially missing him anyway.
So here's my main question, though. Or do we just walk up to them and say, hey, are you a part of a cult? Or how do we even deal with that?
We trail them. See where this individual in town goes.
No, please take the direct approach.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll love that.
Hey, Red, why don't you just throw a fireball over there? It'll be fine.
Well, we
Yes,
find the house
please.
first.
Middle of town, make my day.
All right, so back to the boring part of town it is, I suppose.
Stakeout it is.
Yep.
Alrighty
So,
then.
our
And
best lead
that's
right now.
where we're going to take our break because I'm out of water and I need
yeah.
water rapidly.
I hear you.
So I'm going to go refill this water bottle and another water bottle while we're off on our break. But for those of you that have been here enjoying this story, I hope you're enjoying it very much. I hope my players are giving you a ton of fun, because I know I'm having fun playing with them. And anytime I take the storyteller role here with these 4 individuals, it's always fun. Check my DMs. Oh God, I can imagine what you've sent me. So I will check that out while I'm drinking water and having our break. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. Join it, hang around, and get some water and snacks for yourselves too. It's freaking D&D night. Go get some snacks. It's what it's all about. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for hanging out during our break. Hopefully you went and got water and snacks. I know I did, and pretty much most of my table went and got drink and snacks as well. Especially a very certain Dragonborn got some delicious cheesy tater tots that I'm going to kill him for because they look delicious.
You can try.
You
first
can
need to
try.
Catch me. You need to catch me in order to kill me.
Oh my gosh.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Brandon gets cheesy tater tots. Alrighty then. We're going to pick right back up into it as the party has been deciding what their next most logical course of action is going to be. They decided to return to essentially the business district of the capital main city and scope out the patterns and locations of a certain... Excuse me, snacks are trying to come back. My apologies. Excuse me again. Trying to track down the exact location and the ongoings of a certain George Ilroom, the head of the Ilroom family. As this motley crew of individuals saunters through the streets and heads on to the boring part of the district, what is your methods of tracking and what do you wish to accomplish?
The doctor will take the option of being the furthest away because I feel like he's the most recognizable one.
Really?
I would never have known that with that mask on, you know?
Didn't see that coming.
So this is like a fairly populous part of town where like a little bit of like higher end business happens. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Red, would you happen to have caught a glimpse of what he was wearing?
I'm sure she did.
You did. He was a bit more dressed up than you've seen before in I would say 3/4 sleeve tunic with the sleeves rolled to the elbows. Again, it would seem to be tailored to kind of be more showing off of his barrel chest and arms and trying to hide the gut he had developed over the years of his not working as hard life. He's definitely, you can see he grew up a hard worker, but in his later years, you can definitely tell he had a big family and a lot of hands, so he could do a little less work. But decently dressed in, I would say, probably a darker brown, nice tunic, a bit of probably like black satin trim around the sleeves and collar. Definitely a higher collar folded over on itself. Beyond that, you would just have to make up the rest because you weren't really give him a good like a once over, but you did see his upper body easily as he was a little surrounded by individuals coming up to him, shaking his hand. They were having that jovial conversation we discussed earlier.
And she would absolutely inform them that people seem to be greeting him rather well, like respectfully. And he wasn't having to come to them. So something big happened.
Given that, I would like to just ask around and see if anybody has seen this individual I described to them.
Okay. Give me a... Let's see here. Give me a persuasion check, please.
21.
Mm.
Oh my. With that, you talk to individuals. Are you just grabbing anybody you see on the street, or is there anybody particular you would want to go to?
No, just anybody who's passing around.
Okay. You talk to individuals. They seem to kind of remember seeing that person, but then you do stop one person, female, middle age, kind of this dark red hair, super tight braid once it gets to like pulled to a ponytail, but the ponytail itself is in the braid and goes down probably, I'd say, lower back, dressed very well in what looks to be some kind of a tunic, but is a bit longer, so it's more like a tunic dress.
Mm-hmm.
That she has this pair of glasses, kind of smaller, round, pushed halfway through her bridge of her nose, like not resting all the way down, not all the way up, but kind of in the middle. And she has with her what looks to be a satchel with some books in it. You can definitely see she's probably some kind of a note taker or someone who writes a lot, but you can definitely see there's a lot of parchment on her, a lot of books. And she just stops. Yes, of course. That sounds similar to Mr. Ilrum. He's just up in his office in that building there.
Do you happen to know if he's busy right now? Might we be able to go see him?
Right now, I actually is a bit busy. He don't mind. 21 persuasion. Yeah. She kind of looks you over a bit and see she kind of gives a bit of a grin. Well, not to give too much tea to pass around, but he certainly is a bit busy right now. They're preparing to have him ready to take a seat.
Hmm.
Of course, there's still some formalities to get over, but definitely busy right now. Did you have an appointment with him already? I'm sure if you had one already, you could talk to him. But if you were just going to go talk to him, maybe
No,
a
I
bit
just
rough.
wanted to stop by and say hello real quick. It's fine.
Oh, are you a friend of his? Friend of the family?
We've met a few times on business prospects.
Make a deception check.
Yes. 9.
Kind of looks you over. I see. Well, again, if you didn't have one already scheduled, again, from what I saw up there, he's probably pretty busy. I would either speak to his secretary and try to get one arranged for the next couple of days, maybe next week. Outside of that, good luck.
Before you leave, does his secretary have an office nearby his office so I can just make it a quick, easy thing? Or is it like a separate building? I don't know how this works.
No, you head upstairs, and she gives you directions to head upstairs, go to the third floor, and you'll see a room, like a set of corner rooms with the Ilroom crest on the doors, and one of them will have like the name of his secretary, and she gives you that name. That name is, get over to it. You're going to be looking for a Emily.
Thank you.
Of course. She heads on her business.
Then that's where I'm going.
Okay.
Step 2.
Yep.
All of you watch as Eva has a brief conversation with this human female. They go their separate ways, and Eva heads into the building.
Red is following.
Red, you
Red
follow?
is- Yeah, Drac is gonna follow too.
Drac, you follow?
I don't know if the doctor would.
What are you doing?
Hmm.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock,
I
tick
would
tock,
probably,
tick tock,
you
tick tock,
probably
tick
be
tock, tick tock.
up to sit outside and maybe casual conversation with passerbys.
Okay, you
Inquire
wait
about
outside.
maybe doctor practices and stuff like that.
Okay, you wait outside. We'll get back to you later with that conversations. The three of you head in. Eva, this is the first time you've been in this building, along with you, Drac. Immediately, you notice it is a workshop of just offices and legal buildings. You can see various individuals of different walks of life, but all of them do have a similar, almost like a presence about them, that this is a place of legal and record keeping business. They understand this is not their place of practice. So you do see some individuals who just look like they just do not belong.
Mm-hmm.
Like Drakix, you look and you're like, oh yeah, there's a skyship sailor right over there. He looks real uncomfortable, and you can see plain as day he is just like, I hate being here. I just want to get my ship registered and get out. I just want to report my numbers and be gone.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You have a similar experience to this when your captain brought you through to you learn the ropes about this end of the business.
Mm-hmm. They can definitely see the fact that he's just like, can we just like end this part already? Can we just like go? But at the same time, he's just being like extremely cautious, mindful.
And again, inside this building, it is entirely made of stone on the outside. On the inside, it is this beautiful mixture of stone and lumber and a bit of marbling. And what you do notice is as you head inside, you do look around, you immediately do not see any stairs. What you are met with instead, Red, you are a bit more partial to the stairs just because of your line of work. You never used the main transportation system here. As you walked in, there is this giant lovely foyer area. There is a desk that is a bit centered there, and then behind the desk, probably about like 5, 10, 15 feet, is these two open doorways. And as you look inside of them, there is an ever constant steady stream. And one of them, about every 10 or so seconds, a platform just rises. And then in the other one, same timing, a platform just descends. Ever constant, every 10 to 15 seconds. And you watch as people just either step into it and they are lifted straight up without issue, or you see people coming down and they step right off without issue.
Arcane elevator.
Shall
That's
we?
correct.
Elevator go up the hole.
Okay.
Elevator go down the hole.
You head to the arcane lift.
Mm-hmm.
As it comes up, you all step on, and it doesn't seem to have any reaction to your weight of the three of you. It just keeps lifting. And as you're inside here now, you can see it is a mostly circular tunnel, essentially, that just goes vertical. But you can see all around it, and these tiny, fine little calligraphy-like writings are these just dozens upon dozens of arcane runes, and all of them lighting up ever so slightly, and it's like this spiral almost as the disc you're standing on raises you up. A similar manner to how you have seen the technologies for the railway systems move. The runes seem to only be activated when they need to be. But
That sounds promising.
it's beautiful, it's amazing, and it's again just a subtle testament to the sheer dominance over the arcane that can be had.
Mm-hmm.
But you are raised up, second, third, step off, and it just keeps going. But you arrive on the third floor.
Do I see this Ilaroon crest that was mentioned?
Immediately, you do not. You look around a bit and remembering kind of direction you were given, you head down, Red, you know where to go, but right as you start to speak, you see Eva kind of have that aha moment, and she just starts moving in a direction she needs to go.
All right.
At this point, the group you saw earlier, Red, has vanished. The door to the main office of the ill rooms is closed, but you do see just probably about 3 or 4 feet before you get to that door on the left, another door with a similar room banner draped over it. It just says, Secretary of the Urban Family, Emily.
Good to know.
All right.
Before we go any further, this could end up going very sideways. Are we okay with that?
Oh, I'm perfectly fine with that. I have several tricks
Agreed.
up my sleeve. Well, lack of sleeves, but whatever.
All right. Just making sure. Can I get within 30 feet of Emily? And is her door open? Like, can she hear people outside? Or is it closed?
It is ajar.
Okay. I will knock on her door, kind of just push it open a tiny bit more by accident, probably.
Yes, come in. It's your just pleasant female voice.
And I am immediately going to try and cast Charm Person on her.
Good lord. I love it.
Okay. What is your DC?
15?
Okay. What are the components for this spell?
Verbal Somatic.
As you cast this spell, she goes, "What do you do?" And she just stops talking. Then she smiles. "Oh, hello. How are you doing today?"
Hello, dear. I'm all right, thank you. How's
Good.
work been?
Come in. Come. Sit. And
I
she
don't mean to take up
gestures
your
you
time. I
inside.
know you're working. I just have a few questions, if that's okay.
Oh, it's just work. Come, sit. Something to
I'll
drink.
come sit with her. What was that?
Something to drink.
Scan.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Ren, would you like something to drink?
Oh, no, darling. I'm great from back here. Thank you.
Okay.
Drakex?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Red will kind of flank her like the bruiser she is.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So all of you go into this small office.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Red's standing against a wall, so
Okay. It's a smaller office. With that many people in there, it's crowded. Well, what can I do for you?
Well, I don't have an appointment with Mr. Ilrium, and I'm not going to try and bother him right now. But I need to know if there's any point either later today or tonight where he might be available. Do you know what his schedule is like for the day?
And she just opens the book and turns directly to the page. Well, he's gone for the day. Usually he's not in the office too much unless something's going on, and well, something is going on. So he did come by to drop a few things off, and he'll be busy for about a week or so, especially with the swearing in. And
Right.
that's really about it. If you really want to catch him, you'll make a persuasion check.
Yes.
Does she get advantage?
With
because they're
advantage.
charmed?
Wait, advantage what?
You get advantage
They're
because
charmed.
she's charmed.
Ah. Good, that's a 24.
Look, normally I wouldn't suggest this, but it seems like you really need to talk to him, so just don't go before dinner time, and you should be good. At his home. To catch him here in the office, he's really not here too much. Of course, he might be here more now. He'll have a seat on the knot, but beyond that, until he gets officially seated in, he's home.
Do you have any idea how he got voted in? Was it just a lack of other candidacy, or was he actually voted in?
Oh, there was no vote. He controls 2/3 of the lands now, so he just kind of is allowed to.
Right. Okay.
Things don't settle down with the way they're going out there. It might be he owns all of it. Sad, terrible news.
And have there been any more recent developments then?
Well, no, it's just his town's guards can't figure anything out. Shark attacks that far inland. It's scary, isn't it? Do you think we're safe here in the capital? I mean,
I don't think they'll come near the capital, dear. That's way too much noise for them.
Definitely, certainly. Just between us, I would never want to live out there. It seems awful.
It's a little rough and tumble sometimes. I've been out there once or twice.
Oh, blessings on you, but no, I will take my comforts here in these buildings, in these streets.
I completely understand. Do you know when about he has dinner, roughly?
Oh, men of that stature, they don't stray far from their ways. I imagine it's right after sundown.
Wonderful. Well, if you happen to see him, just please let him know that a friend stopped by. I kind of want to surprise him a little bit, so don't tell him who it was. Just tell him a friend stopped by, alright?
Oh, of course, absolutely, dear.
Alright. Thank you very much for your help. I hope the rest of your day goes wonderful.
Oh, there's not much more left now, and my job's about to get a lot easier.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I will stand up and walk out.
Okay.
Red will again be flanking.
Okay.
He's gonna follow behind.
Okay.
He does think about messing with her, but
Come
then
on.
decides not to.
Look, you and Red are gonna get along just fine.
Well, so much for that stakeout, I guess. He's already going home.
I should make a chaos roll. This is a D100.
You absolutely should.
Yeah. That's great.
This is all this party is going to
You know,
be.
and it raises by 5% every time you resist the urge.
You got some shady people in this party, dude.
I'm gonna have to come up with something like that soon.
Dude, that means that it's never gonna go higher than 10%.
I know. All
I
right.
don't know. We'll see.
So you head out. You take the lift that goes down. You head out of the building. All of that was happening. Doctor, you have about 10-20 minutes of time to yourself. What would you like to do?
Knowing that I don't want to be the easiest recognizable face in the group, I decided to keep my distance from them, so I decided to stay out here.
Okay.
And I'll just make inquiries about medical practices in the area, if anyone's hiring and stuff like that.
Okay. So roll me a, let's see here. Give me a charisma check,
Okay.
and then give me an investigation roll.
All right. Charisma and investigation. 17 for the charisma check, 11 for the investigation.
Fantastic. You are able to speak to a few individuals, and for the most part, what you gather is the location of where you at currently depends heavily upon the arcane.
Mm-hmm.
And there really isn't a ton of the elbow deep biological physical sense of medicine. It's still advancements, there's still things here like that, but there's not usually those kinds of practices are specialized, and being specialized means that you either have to wait for somebody to die or retire.
Mhm.
A lot of things
Uh,
that happens in ongoings here rely heavily on the mixing of the craft of medicine and arcane.
I mean,
And
as
they
my role.
specifically, you also pick up on that it's definitely much more arcane than
Mhm.
divine.
Okay, that's actually interesting to know then. Um, I would probably bring up that I am arcanely practiced as well with in my talk. See if they know of any individual who uh, they've seen that I can go talk to about a position to work with,
I would
or
say at that point, it just, again, it goes to that you're most things in this area are bottlenecked. You're waiting for somebody to die or retire.
hmm. All right. No mortician positions open.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's all I can
After
get.
about
That's
15,
all I
20
get.
minutes, you see Eva leading the charge as Red and Drakix are flanking her like she's the hottest new celebrity in town.
Hell yeah.
That sounds about right, in all honesty.
It really does.
It's like Red is actually her agent and Drac is her bodyguard.
Like if the three of
Hey,
you walk
hey
down the
now.
streets long enough, I'd make you roll charisma checks and not get recognized or get fake recognized.
I don't know. Some of these people might recognize Red, so
Might make Miss Eva more like, who is she watching over now? I don't know. She must be new and powerful. Yada 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 yada. Anyways, all of you reconvene back outside, probably some distance away from the building, I would imagine.
Yeah, like probably
Yeah,
20 feet or so. Just moving and schmoving.
Okay. What would you like to do now?
Well,
Uh,
it seems Mr. Ilrune has gone home for the day, so the choice is wait around the city to see if Villis reappears, or go join Mr. Ilrune for dinner at the farm.
Hmm.
Unless we want to do something else entirely.
Well, we could always skulk around his property once all the lights are out too. See if we could get into the what was it, a barn shed, something building. I mean, he has to hold his ceremony somewhere if he's in some kind of a cult.
Well, it seems this cult's fond of digging tunnels, so there's no chance underground.
Not
that is very
too.
true.
We haven't been able to search their home.
We've
No.
not, no.
Not properly, or without being watched.
So wait until after dark and then skulk around?
Snoop around. Yes.
Mhm.
Red
Uh-huh.
and yeah, you definitely yeah. Red and Eva, give me a history check.
History check. Lovely.
15.
14.
15 and 14. Okay, the two of you begin to discuss what you would want to do and how you want to go about it. You begin to remember that when someone is seated in the merchant's knot, it's usually a pretty big ceremony. Normally, you invite your family and you have it in the city.
We could always wait for the ceremony and then nobody will be there.
Not in farmhands.
True enough. Hmm. Does he have hired farmhands or is only his family works the farm?
I would assume he has farmhands. We met two of them in the college
true enough.
field. Oh, well, let's say one of them. The other one matched the physicality of one of the sons, if I remember correctly.
So we could go at night and avoid all of it, or we could take our chances with the farmhands.
I could still crack in some skulls.
Farmhands don't necessarily scare me, but also my more immediate question would be, how long would we be waiting until this ceremony? Was a few days? That leaves a lot of time for something to happen in between now and then.
Very true.
Right.
So nighttime, and then if that fails, then wait for the ceremony.
As long as you all are comfortable with it.
That's fine with me.
That was our original plan for tonight's events.
All right, so let's head out then. Anybody else have any other business in town?
Do not believe so.
No. I do not.
Well, let's see what Villis gets up to if and when he discovers the note.
So, before we left, we had one set of goggles that we gave to the doctor for his mask. Where did the second set go? Have we
Trash.
given them to someone yet? Okay.
Yeah. I'm the only one that does not have the ability to see in the dark.
Okie dokie. Just double checking before we start getting into shit.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the outskirts it is then.
Yay!
Okay.
Do we want to make a stop at the apothecary and wait till dark?
Okay. All of you head back to the apothecary. Waiting until the sun sets. How far into dark are you waiting until you head out? What time would you like to leave? Are you going to plan it to where when you get closer to the building and the Ilrum homestead, it's dark, or are you going to wait until it is dark to leave?
I would say we'd probably try and plan it to where within 10 or 15 minutes of actually arriving at the homestead is when it gets full dark. I
Mhm.
wouldn't want to make the whole trip in the dark,
Okay.
Mhm.
but
So
Are they adjacent to another property that we know of, or are they offset from the other two?
they currently now, due to recent purchases,
Correct.
only share a portion of their easternmost section with the notes here with the Collins family, as they are the only remaining large ranch hand family within the Sirwich Fields.
But the properties are basically butted up against each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the land is put to its maximum use due to the fact that it is an island that flies.
Little side note, while we're at the apothecary, the doctor will make a quick sign to put on the door of the apothecary while they're gone.
Okay.
To say something simply says, apothecary currently closed for medical emergencies or herbal inquiries. Look forward to doctor.
love it.
Okay. So all of you wait until about the right time of night. Right around as dusk begins to set in, you head out. Again, you don't feel the island descend. There isn't a noticeable shift or like a sudden drop of the altitude. It just begins to lower. The only thing that you can assist you in knowing the island is lowering is as the telltale top fog or the top of the clouds begins to roll inland as it does descend below in order to preserve that arcane power as much as possible. Walking through, I imagine at some point, Red, you just tail back a bit and either hold on to somebody as darkness sets in. How do you want to go about that?
She will place her hand on Eva's shoulder and walk with Eva.
Okay.
Eva will just pat her hand as she keeps walking, going, there, child, don't worry.
Silly,
Sounds alright.
silly human.
The doctor probably just mess with his goggles a little, new fix goggles a bit, just new sight, new feeling.
It's interesting, those of you that have the goggles now, you realize that dark vision doesn't mean you can see in the dark. It means you can now, the world around you is perceived in all the tones between gray, black, and white, and nothing else. Specifically,
So I'm fully in color.
yeah, you're in color.
Oh, yeah.
What's interesting, though, is that they do not assist with piercing through the fog that rolls in every night as the island descends.
Mm-hmm.
So you are still at a essentially half of your dark vision range.
More than we had before.
Even though you do have goggles that let you see into 60 feet of darkness, due to the fog that rolls in, I'd say you have about 30. Now, once you're, inside a building, or if you're further inland where the arcane enchantments to keep the clouds and fogs at bay is a little less, you would imagine they'd be more effective.
Yeah.
But out here in the open field where it's just free roam, creatures that are slain and eaten, it's still pretty tough. It's neat. You look down at your hand, Dracix, and you're like, oh, kind of boring, really, but at least I can see it now.
Oh, she will cast light on like a small pebble and then completely cover it in cloth just in case she needs to see really quickly. She can just open the cloth and she can see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. I won't flash grenade anybody at all, no.
She's doing it under a cloth, man.
Yeah, no, I just can't wait to see you tell you to pull the cloth off.
If you can jog my memory, the individuals we encountered at Collins Land, so we strongly suspect we're from the Ilrins, we're also wearing goggles of night, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You suspect.
It would be.
So, might be useful to blind them with that.
It's quite
But-
possible.
You make your walk, retracing steps led to you, and you do approach. And again, here it's the main central large building, and then there was 2 other buildings out to the side. You imagine probably for extended family and ranch hands. But you do come upon the familiar buildings of the Ilroom family. There is lights on the inside of all 3 buildings.
We wait then.
How long?
I'm not sure. Should we?
Which building do we want to check first?
Wasn't there that one like super sus building?
Yep.
Oh, you want to go out to there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, retracing your steps from where you were let out originally, from the eldest son, you leave from the main building and plot your course. Who wants to helm that?
I can't see in the
I'll
dark.
lead us. I'll lead us.
Dracus was the one who saw the building anyway, so.
Yeah.
he flew
Okay.
up.
Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Oh, hell.
Okay.
Oh, hell.
Do me good. Come on. Come on. That's a 12.
No.
Different, no
I
modifier.
mean,
You feel pretty confident you're taking them in the right direction. Trying to remember how long it took you to walk there. It's like, well, it took us like about an hour and a half to walk there, right? Is that right? Is that right? And you get to walking. Hour passes. Hour and a half. 2 hours.
At this point, he just looks at the others. I may not know where we're going anymore.
can the doctor surmise where they might be?
Were you
I
were
was
with them?
but they initially did, but I did not see the building because Drakus flew up to see it.
Okay.
But I think they told you about it and
No,
probably
I
the
told.
general
Yeah,
direct.
no, I
Mhm.
made sure that I told the party.
Okay, make an intelligence check.
Yes.
Please and thank you.
That's a 17.
17. You get out here like, well, he wasn't too far off. We just need to. And you start kind of looking where you came from, orient yourself, and you point out and like I think, yeah, that way. That way by about 45 minutes we should be there.
All right.
And all of you walk. About 45 minutes to an hour later, at the edge of your 30 feet of dark vision range, you do catch a building.
Unlit.
Unlit. It is a large barn. And I will say, while you're walking, you're passing like cattle, goats, just sleeping.
They're not reacting to us.
No,
Wait,
they're just sleeping.
Didn't they say they kept the animals in the barn?
At
And that way
night.
they didn't get attacked by.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there's a lie. Wonder what's in that barn.
Let's find out.
Okay.
She's gonna scope around the edges of the building, checking out, see where all the entrances are.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Okay.
See how much you pull from your walk.
Oh, I got a 4. Somebody else want to do it?
4? Doesn't work that way. You
I
said
ain't
you were the
much
one
better
doing
than
it.
that.
Yeah.
Every other person without the ability to see do it too.
You
Because of my non-dark
feel
vision.
your way through, and I would imagine you probably unwrap a little bit of the cloth to make like a small bit of light,
Yeah.
just enough for yourself to see. And it's still kind of difficult because again, it's fog all around you, so it's like turning on your brights in snowstorm or fog. It's rough.
Yeah.
But you found the barn.
Yep.
Seems to be one entrance. Large double barn doors.
Right. So I was only able to see one entrance.
Drac is gonna walk to the main entrance.
Okay.
He's gonna look to
As
see
you
if
get
there's
up to
any
it, you can see. Yep, I got that for you right now. There's the typical iron bars that run up and down, probably about a foot long, a solid inch around iron rod as the handle has just been nailed and bolted into the doors. Between them is a chain hooked, wrapped to probably 2 or 3 times with this pretty intimidating lock locked over it.
He's gonna look at it. He's gonna look to the others. And he's going to calmly say, do you want to knock or should I just...
Before we do either of those things,
Right.
Well, the knocking was rhetorical. But what I
Red,
meant was, do you want a soft approach?
can you potentially melt that?
There's a possibility. I can always try. And she is going to. Let me see. Which one of these will let me?
I know you like to play with fire, so it's kind of up your alley.
It
If
really
the
is.
fire doesn't work, I have maybe a vial left of the stomach acid from the shark.
I would say you probably have a use.
Yeah.
Use is better than no use.
Because I used the other half I had on the individual in town.
Red has 2 d4s to use for tonight.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for keeping up with that, Trackx. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And Drakex also has one.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur has one as well.
Yes.
I'll need to put that on the screen somehow, make it easier. I will do that before next. I will make a note and do that before next session to put help dice on the screen.
One thing that
Mhm.
I'm going to do, because of the fact that we have 3 people with us, I will bless the 3 of you.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so the
For the
first thing
next
that I'm gonna
minute, you are blessed.
try is control flame
Is that a leveled spell or a cantrip?
cantrip.
Alrighty then.
And she's going to make it in the exact shape of the lock to only burn the lock.
Give me a moment here. Can you send that spell over or no?
I don't know how to do that.
I got you.
Okay, cool. If she has to use create bonfire first, she can do that. And just make it a small
Using
fire.
which one? Control flames?
Control flames, yeah. It should be the 4th bullet. It says you cause simple shapes such as a vague form of a creature, an inanimate object, or a location. Oh well, to appear within the flames and last. Well, she's not trying to burn the barn down.
You need to start with a non-magical flame.
Okay,
You
so
have
she
no
can do create
flame.
bonfire.
Okay.
Create bonfire is also a cantrip.
So you're going
I
to
mean,
light something on fire.
She has cloths. It's fine.
There's dry grass around us.
Plus, there's she has a torch. She's lighting her torch on fire.
Okay, you light your torch on fire with create bonfire.
Uh-huh.
And then you hold that to the lock.
Yes.
Okay.
If she has to, she will hold the lock out from wherever it is using mage hand.
I'll say, okay, that's all that happening. Give me a spell casting check. So give me just a base charisma check.
A base charisma check. Got
Yep.
it.
You are blessed.
Oh
and
no, I am blessed. Good.
And you have a circle of the chat dice to use should you see fit. You have 2 to use,
Okay.
but you only use 1 at a time. So
I can only use one. Which one gives me the potentially bigger bonus?
They're both
They're the
D4s.
same.
they're both
They're both
D4s, but you
D4s,
can use
great.
both.
No, you can actually use both
Oh,
on
sweet.
this.
Okay, good, because I'm gonna need it. Okay, so it's a 15.
Okay, 15. This is a cantrip.
Yeah.
As you begin to try and really connect with that inner power of the flame within you, and you begin to focus it down and try and get it where it needs to be, you just you don't have enough control or the limitations of the spell to get the flame to the proper heat and precision required. Maybe if you had some more oomph to it or just better control in the moment, you could probably do it. But just the limitations of the spell, what you want to achieve is just beyond you.
All right.
Is the lock still like hot? Not glowing.
I will say it's not like red hot, but you can see it's beginning to glow a bit warmer.
Can I take the stomach acid or the sky shark and pour it onto the heated lock?
Ooh, I know what you're trying to do.
Sure. Let's see.
This doesn't
here.
work the way I want. I have a secondary option, but I'd rather not try it. I want to
No,
try
I'm
this
fine with
first.
this. Do me a favor, just
give
walk me
an
through
option of-
how you do this.
So I'll ask Red to mage hand the lock while it's hot, so it's lifted up off of the door,
Mhm.
and I will take out the vial of stomach acid I have, and I will meticulously drip it onto the part of the lock that connects it to the actual lock mechanism.
So
and
one of
tried
like the hinges that comes out of the lock and opens up.
Exactly. And being that it's hot and this is probably lukewarm at best, I want to see. I'm hoping that the heat plus the acid burning will help either expand the metal or make it contract enough to where it can just be jiggled off.
Okay, give me a dexterity check.
Okay. I am also blessed, so let me add that. And I'll use my circle chat dice too. Okay, that brings it to a 17.
17. Okay. As you are beginning to pour it over, you do get a few of the drops where you need to go, but you're not sure if it's the heat of the metals working with you or against you, but you do notice as this acid hits it, it begins to bubble and fizzle. But then as the metal cools, you can see it is not having quite the effect you want. There's something here that could happen, but it needs something more.
Then I have one more option, and I'll use a first level spell slot to do it.
Ooh.
I will cast Chromatic Orb.
Okay.
And I will use I'll pull the small 50 gold worth diamond from my component pouch, hold it up and in my other hand take my syringe and douse the red liquid from my syringe onto it, causing the gem to glow and cast Chromatic Orb.
Okay. Which orb are you casting?
So, from your description, are you saying I need more acid or do I need more hot cold effect? Can I discern that with an intelligence check?
Either would have an effect. It's just what route you want to go about getting there.
Okay, I'll try acid.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything anybody else wants to do in this moment?
When we're gonna try to wait and see for Doctor to deal with this, and if not, he's just gonna take his long sword to it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I'm just kind of trying to break it open. All right.
Okay. So you go with acid sphere.
Yes. And roll it. 17 to hit.
Okay.
With 13 acid damage.
Okay.
If it is a attack, you do actually have that a
Blessing.
bless.
Yes.
So in
Yeah.
case of anything.
No,
I'll add
he's
the D4.
definitely hit it.
Yeah, 30-20 total.
Okay. So as you go for it, you launch the attack and you focus it down just enough to where this, what is essentially like a fist-sized orb, compresses down to almost like a bead or a marble of this compressed acid, and it strikes the same point he had poured the vial on, and then it rapidly, almost like flash, expands and explodes as there's a quick, like a pong sound as the lock, just all the pressure is released and flies open, and acid just goes not like everywhere, but everywhere in a small, localized, very small area, like maybe like 6 to 7 inches around the burst point. Just psst.
And
Nice.
with that, I'll put the diamond back into my component pouch and look to the party. Oh, I think we're in.
I think we are.
I will give each of them a bardic inspiration before we go in.
Okay.
All three of us have one?
Yep.
How do you inspire them?
Hand on red, hand on the doctor, looking at Drakex and just say, "For the love of God, please don't die."
Take your D6 inspirations.
Sure.
Red is cackling more than she probably should at that comment.
In all honesty, freaking Drac is just grinning from ear to ear. He just goes like, "Don't worry, it'll take a lot to kill me."
The doctor playing Dr. Matt's face. I don't plan on dying.
Okay. So you undo the chains, open the doors.
Yeah, very enough for us to slip in. Yes.
Okay, you open the doors enough for Drakix to slip in, as he is the
Yes.
largest member.
Good
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah.
Big fucking body.
All of you head inside. It is dark inside, and the fog is only just now beginning to roll in because of the open door. But in here, you have full, uninhibited use of your newly acquired dark vision, except for you, Red.
I mean,
Everybody else, you can finally see to the full. The barn isn't actually, yeah, it would be. So you can see the full 60 feet of dark vision within here. And inside there is space for beasts. There's space for, there are carts here. There looks like a couple like a work desk where they probably do simple repairs to carts, tools, who knows what. Saddles for horses. There are a couple of horses here. Like, it is a large barn.
The doctor immediately start looking around for hidden panels in the floor that might lead down to a basement or something.
All right, make an investigation check.
Red will help. Well, no, Red can't because she's freaking blind right
I'm gonna
now.
help him.
Okay. Advantage, right?
That's correct.
And that is a 20 total.
20 total. Do you want to use your Bardic Inspiration now or say for the other 9 minutes you have with your time? Actually, no, this, honestly, if you're going to be doing an investigation check on this large of an area,
It would take the entire time.
It would take the entire time. I
So
would
yes,
suggest
I
would just go ahead and using it.
Yeah. 1d6, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
That is a 6, or 26 total.
26 total. Okay.
Good lord.
As
Yeah.
you thumb through this area, you do find a couple of beneath the floor areas that are directly over where the animal pens are. But that's
As
not
I'm
what's
going, I
interesting
mark
to
out which
you.
ones to the party I find.
What's interesting to you is not what you find on the floor, but as you get a bit discouraged about finding nothing but essentially the refuse drainage areas, you start looking over, just eyeing around, and you notice there's one of the carts has quite a few shovels stacked on it. And you start looking into that one, rummaging around. About 4 or 5 shovels just thrown in the back of one of these carts.
Freshly used shovels?
Not freshly used, but used.
Okay.
Looking over the desk with a 26, Jesus.
All the things.
Looking over the work desk and workbench areas, looking around, you can mostly boring things, simple ironworks, a small forge for fixing things there on site. What's interesting to you, though, however, is kind of tucked up and shoved underneath a couple of seemingly discarded projects and other tools to be repaired. You do find a hastily rolled up piece of parchment, probably large enough to be a sizable map. Probably, obviously, even rolled up, it's probably about 2 or 3 feet long. And that's what caught your attention. As you pull it out, you lay it down and kind of move some of the twine aside and open it up and roll it out. And in the dark, it's kind of hard to read and see ink in the dark.
Do you need a light, dear?
Yes, that would help me a lot.
Watch your eyes, everyone. And
I
she
will
will
close my eyes when she does this.
Okay.
she will she will partially uncover it just enough to kind of see what's on the parchment, but not
Okay.
cause too much of light.
I'm waiting a
Okay.
few seconds for the goggles to adjust to the new light, and then I'll slowly open my eyes to it, so I'm not just flashbanged.
So it's less about the goggles adjusting and more about the fact that they're always affixed. So they're always on. So it's your eyes adjusting.
Okay.
So it does take a moment. Eventually the magic does fade as you will yourself over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be a dick and be like, oh yeah, it's always on. Good luck in the daylight. I'm not going to be that guy.
You did think about it
I
though,
would have been.
clearly.
I would have been.
I did
wrong
think about it,
all
but I was
day
like,
today.
but then I was like, yeah, it's already been all day. It's too late now. Can't be a dick now. Too much has happened. If you're going to be a dick, do it right. Storytellers. Catch yourself before you mess up.
Alright then.
Looking over the map, it is a map of only the Surwich Fields. And it meticulously depicts the top, essentially the only 3 ranch lands.
Mhm.
The Mosscales, the Ilrams, and the Collins. What's interesting to you is not so much the ink, but it's the charcoal. There's colored charcoal on this, specifically brown. And it looks to be aligning with some kind of, it draws a line from certain parts of the Collins land to the edge of the map. And then from the Mosscale lands to the edge of the map.
The tunnels. I knew they were behind it.
And that's where we're going to need an episode.
Nice.
That is a very good end.
Yeah.
It is.
Very fine work, everyone. I was wondering how you were going to get the big aha moment. And I was like, well, how much is going to happen before they really get everything going on? That's good. Oh, that's so good.
Nice.
I'm so happy. I am, because I have so many things planned for this.
I was so happy I was able to convince everyone to not break into the.
To not break in.
She's
I was
breaking
ready
in
for that.
eventually, though. Like that's a thing
I
that's
agree.
going to happen now.
I mean, I'm fine with it happening eventually, but I just thought, like, in
Red
Doctor's mind,
is
like,
gonna
right
break
now
into
is not the
something.
time.
So help me God.
Like, we're borderline enemies with these people at this point.
Yeah.
At most, a nuisance.
We're glad you caught it as well. We had a lot of fun telling this story, and that's all we really want to do is have fun, laughs, roll dice. So if you really enjoyed this here, the best thing you can do is just get our name out there. Tell your friends, tell your loved ones, anyone that enjoys storytelling of this aspect on a role-playing game. Let them know, like, hey, go check out those guys at Player Hater Gaming. They got some good fun over there. Beyond that, swing back on Sunday. Check out our other stream. They have a great story they're going to be telling for a short time while one of their members gets themselves back and ready to play again. I can't wait to see what story they unleash. They won't tell me because don't know why, but I'm looking forward to it. Maybe I'll
Listen, I don't know anything about that story either. So
maybe I'll see if they'll let me play in it. I should talk to Forward, see if they'll let me play.
Yes, you should.
Yes.
Let me play a character in this stream. Holy God, that's bad news, Bears. Don't let me play characters. I play on Mondays. I have an in-person game, and very good friend of mine, Joe. He is my DM, and he made an awful mistake and said, "You can be a wizard, sure."
No.
Oh, what level am I? I'm level 13. Oh, okay. 7th level spells. Okay.
Oof.
Oh no.
No, I scared him. I said, I'm just gonna take teleport and plane shift. He's like, why? Why? Like he was shook.
Oh man, I can
If
only
you gave me
imagine.
the option.
I even let him look at my spell list. Like, here's all the spells I took. Have fun. He's like, I don't. Why do you do this? Because he told me, he's like, I don't need to see your spell books. Like, I don't care. Here you go. I want you to see it.
That's
I'm
what I'm
that
paying for the
guy.
doctor to be, is that nuisance for you in this game. I'm making him pure wizard.
I'll be all right. I'll figure it out. If I can handle 11 players at one table for a year and a half, I can handle anything else.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a
Very
rough
nice.
one. Oof. But anyways, I'm not gonna sit here and have a 800-hour long see you later sign off. So we'll just say, hey, players of my table, thank you so much for being here. You guys are amazing. I love having you here. Dr. Eva, Drakex, Red, you have brought amazing characters and you're all amazing players. And I can't wait to see where this story goes. To everybody out there listening and watching, thank you very much for being here. I hope you're having a ton of fun, and I hope all of us here can just keep telling you fantastic stories. Check out our socials, join our Discords, come back and watch us, and until then, hey, just have fun, and we'll catch you later.
Definitely.